Everybody. Today is Saturday, February 12th, 2022. We are going to take a look at some of the best performing stocks for 2022 that I personally own. Also going to take a look at two stocks that I am keeping my eye on, looking to get into a long position in these, assuming the market does not roll over completely for 2022. So we will kick this video off here. We are taking a look at ExxonMobil, ticker symbol XOM. We are on the TradingView platform, upper left, ExxonMobil Corporation, tradingview.com. This is just a daily chart of Exxon. So we have been long Exxon since early this year, down in this $60 range. We are up right now to, looks like Friday was another nice day. We closed at 80.21. So about $20 a share in the green, sitting nice and pretty. We have trailing stops for, well, all of our positions that are long. So that will keep us in a trade until things start to look a little bit negative and the position rolls over. Of course, that will be stopping us out for a profit. We are sitting nice above the 200-day moving average at $62.15. We are sitting above the 50-day at $68.75 and above the 21-day at $76.43. It has been a very nice uptrend compared to the stock indices and the market futures, which have been basically sideways to rolling over. Where on the other hand, Exxon has been trading up nicely. Little area of concern is how far above the 200-day we are. The 200 days in red, and up here is where we were closed Friday. So we're at that, give or take $20 area above the 200-day. So we will see. It's a little bit of a concern, but not going to fight the bullish trend. But if we look back into this time frame, which was March 11th-ish, the 200-day was about in the $40 range, and then the price was up in the $60 range. So once we got that $20 spread in between the price and the 200-day, we started to roll over, trade sideways, eventually letting price catch up to the 200-day before consolidating for some time, and then more recently making that big move up to higher prices. So this has been a great performer so far for us in 2022. Excuse me. A little thing we can do here is we can take the fibs. We'll take this swing high here down to this swing low, and this will give us a little bit more upper price target areas potentially for where the price could go to, assuming this thing and the market do continue to rise and not roll over. You can see that found a little bit of resistance at the 1.618, chopping around, turning that into support. Now we are up at the 2.618 at $79. Looks like we are getting ready to turn that into support and head higher, perhaps up to the 3.618, which would put, looks like around $88 for Exxon. So pretty interesting, because what you could have done is, before we had this breakout on, let's see, January 5th of 2022, you could have laid your fibs, swing high, swing low, and you could have had these overhead price targets, potential areas of resistance in mind ahead of time. You can use them as areas to take profit or areas to, on the downside, look for price support and vice versa. So, and you will see how this comes into play with some other assets that have yet made runs similar to this, but potentially could, because they are breaking out. So that's my thoughts on ExxonMobil. We have been long this thing for some time now, and so far We are just letting it do what it does until it proves us otherwise. Let's take a look at another position. This is Philip Morris International, ticker symbol PM. Upper left-hand side, you can see Philip Morris. So we put out a video, it was probably this week or late last week, about Philip Morris, kind of what our thoughts were and what we were looking for. So we said around this area right here, we are looking for Philip Morris to break out higher in that low $100 range. We chopped around for a bit on, let's see what the date was, February 4th, February 5th, 6th, and so on. Finally, on February 10th, we got a nice big move to the upside. Did reverse, and then we really had that follow through come in on Friday, the 11th of February. So we put out our video saying, look, we are looking for Philip Morris to break out. And obviously we want to see it close strong, close above that low $100 area. And finally on Friday, we got that confirmation. That confirmation also lines up very nice with this all-time high here on September 7th. And that was 106.51. We closed at 107.96 on Friday. So just giving you a little review here of what we had mentioned in prior videos to where we stand now. And like I said, we are long this thing, and we will stay long unless stopped out. And if not, trailing stops will be in order. Let's do something similar to what we did with ExxonMobil. We'll take this swing high and we'll run it down to the swing low, which is right about there. So let's zoom out a little bit, get our fibs on the screen. So what we're looking at here is we have the breakout area above the all-time highs, which is, if we click back to ExxonMobil, we'll go back to ExxonMobil here, and that would put us right here if we do a comparison. Now, will things play out the same? There's a good chance they won't, but we can just look at this as a reference, perhaps spark some ideas. So we could be sitting right there with Philip Morris. And you can see breakout above that all-time high. And now we have, let's click back to ExxonMobil. First area we can look for is the 1.618. Let's click back to Philip Morris. And that would get us up into this area, which would be $119 Philip Morris. ExxonMobil obviously hit that target. It actually went higher. It went up to the 2.618, which would give it a $140 Philip Morris. So obviously we don't know if this is going to play out, but we are long this position. We've got the breakout we like to see. Stops are in place if it decides to roll over. No big deal. We can always get back into a position when the time is right. And if it continues higher, we will have a stop trailing the price, and that will keep us in this trade for as long as it does continue to rise higher. And you can see over here back on ExxonMobil that we actually, looks like we closed above the 2.618, initially trading much higher, not quite halfway between the 2.6 and the 3.6, but pulling back, and we'll see if we head up to this 3.6. So let's go back to Philip Morris. That would put us at $161, give or take a couple dollars for Philip Morris. So we will see what happens here. We are, let me get rid of some of this stuff on the screen. We are trading very nice above the moving averages. We're above the 50-day, 200-day, and we have been riding a very nice slope to the upside on the 21-day moving average, and then that nice break to the upside. We'll see what happens in the coming days and weeks. If this thing holds, does it get pushed back down? My thoughts are this whole basing structure in here did a lot. It was a great area for the big boys who run the markets to accumulate plenty of inventory, and they are ready for higher prices. So keeping our eye on Philip Morris. for more upside. All right, next chart, DBC, Invesco DB Commodity Index Tracking Fund, up on the left-hand side, ticker symbol DBC. We have also been long this thing from early 2022 down in this $20 range. We are up to, looks like we closed Friday at $23. This thing has been a beautiful position to hold. Although we are not still long from these areas, this thing has been trending higher since early 2020. Like I said, we are long this from this year, and we continue to hold. Trailing stops are in place. This thing is a great looking chart. Really, really nice uptrend sitting above the 250 and 21-day moving averages as well. We can also throw the Fibonacci's up on this chart here. We'll take this swing high right about there. Take that swing low right about there. We will zoom this out a little bit. And you can see that this will lie on the charts. Our next 1.618 fib level gets us up to about $23.49. We are not very far from that as of Friday. And then above that, we have a $26, $28, $30 area for DBC. We'll see what happens. We'll probably find a little bit of overhead resistance at the 1.618. But until then, stops are in place. Nothing to worry about. And it has been in a nice trend to the upside since 2020. But we are in this thing from 2022. And we will continue to hold until the price says, I am no longer going up. And we will be stopped out. No big deal. For a profit, of course. Okay, let's take a look at two other assets. We're going to take a look at Apple. Apple, we are not long. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Just sharing with you guys what we're doing and what we see on these charts. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on all of these stocks that I have been going over here today. So we're taking a look at Apple. Apple was looking good the other day. Let me see if I can get, there we go. Apple was looking good the other day, and then we got smacked back down on Thursday and Friday, clarifying that this thing is not quite ready to break out to the upside. We would like to see this thing up in that $175 range. And if we can break that level, we think we're going much higher for Apple. Definitely printing new all-time highs. We are sitting above the 200-day, although we are below the 50-day and 21-day as of Friday. So probably nothing more than a pause in a much larger uptrend to come. Kind of like if you look at this whole area here back in September, October 21, it was a downward trend, although short, and then continued higher. So potentially we're doing that. A couple things I see on the screen that this area right here could be a lower high, but until we print a lower low below the Jan 24th, then we are not going to be in a confirmed downtrend. Just a pausing, basing structure. Let's throw the fibs up here for fun. See where this gets us for some overhead price targets for Apple. All right, let's see here. So you can see that if we, break out above the all-time high, then we have 200, 228, 256, 273 overhead price targets for Apple in the future, coming months or perhaps years ahead, depending on what the indices decide to do. So we will see what happens here. What's interesting is you look at this all-time high, and then we take a step back to Philip Morris. You can see we have broken that high. Let's take another step back to ExxonMobil. And where's ExxonMobil? You can see that we broke that high on the 5th of January, and it has been upward ever since. So here we are, sitting with Apple, Still well below all-time highs, but if the trend reverses, will we see similar moves going to tag these overhead fib levels? Time will tell. This thing has a little bit of work to do before we get into a long position, but we are keeping an eye on it. All right, to a fan favorite over here to Tesla. A lot of people trade Tesla, whether it's stock, options, whether you're trading with leverage. We personally just trade the stock itself. Couple things interesting here I see on Tesla. Let's zoom in. We are on a daily chart. On Friday, Tesla closed a price gap. We had a price gap between the 28th and the 31st of January. Although it was small, it was still a price gap below the market. Problem with price gaps is they, at some point, tend to go back and get filled. And Friday was a beautiful day. Although we were down $44, we did close that gap. So this could be the end of the downward trend for Tesla, and it would also do one more thing. It would close the gap, it would be a higher low, and it would also be above the 200-day. All three things are great. Obviously, we will know in the future. So that is what we are looking for on Tesla. We would like to see it not undercut this low. If we undercut the low on the 28th of 792.01, we could see a very fast downward move. So let's not undercut that low. Let's make this be the higher low, which was Friday, and then let's go off to print a higher high above the high on January 26th. That would give us a sign that we are in the early stages of a new uptrend. So we'll have a higher low, and then that next leg up will be the higher high. If we undercut that low on the 28th, that will not be good. But until then, nothing more than a gap fill and a higher low. Let's throw the fibs up on here. Let's zoom out, and you will see, similar to Apple, or at least as close as it can be, is we are still well below the all-time highs, that $1,200 range. If we get the move up at some point, we do believe it will come, we will see much higher prices in Tesla, $1,500, $1,900, $2,400, $2,700 Tesla. Won't happen tomorrow, won't happen next week. Could happen in the coming months and years, though. You'll see a $1,000 to a $2,000 Tesla again, we believe. So we are just keeping our eye on that for the chart. We do have some upside work to do. We need that strong buying confirmation for Tesla before we get into another long position. So right now we are flat. That is just our position. Of course, not financial advice. Please always do your own research. And our trading rules will get us back into this thing when the trend is ready to move higher. Right now, it is not ready to do that. So, all right, everybody, that is just some of our thoughts on some of these stocks and then some of the positions we currently hold. Quick review here. We have ExxonMobil, which we have been long for 2022. Continue to hold long. We just recently established a position not long ago in Philip Morris, and we're continuing to watch that closely. Over here to DBC, like I said, we are long this just about the whole year so far, 2022, about a month and a half. Continue to watch this and allow the trailing stop to do what it does. Over here to Apple. Apple, on the other hand, no position in Apple. We are just waiting for a little bit more strength to the upside before we look to get into a position here, excuse me. And then over to Tesla, fan favorite. Everybody loves Tesla. Be careful, it is a big product, but it can move a lot when it is ready to go, both to the upside and to the downside. Like I said, if we undercut this low here, be careful. Things could get sketchy and get sketchy fast for Tesla. So far, high or low, gap fill. Let's get some upside here. Let's get some upside for Tesla. But got to have patience, and we will eventually get into another long position here. All right, everybody. That is kind of my thoughts on a couple positions, a couple of many positions that we have in the portfolio. If you are interested in trading signals, we have a Tesla trader on our Patreon trading group, buy and sell and short signals for a couple different tiers, but we do have one specifically for Tesla and Tesla only. So I will leave links down in the video description. Check them out if you would like. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Have a fantastic weekend. Keep your eye on the crypto markets. Things are a little volatile right now. We're getting that big old pullback. We will see if this is just a little pullback in a much larger swing to the upside. All right, everybody. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and current subscribers. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody leaving their comments and watching the videos. Means a lot. All right. Have a great weekend. I will catch up with you guys later. Take care.